Professor Gopalan, he was a terror there. If he report to him, the student will go out of the college. That kind of. So Professor Rao decided we will not report that to him, but we will handle this. He called the students, and 10-15 minutes he advised him, and we didn't allow him to continue the examination, but we sent him out, but we didn't report. That was another important thing in my, leadership development. See how he interacted with that student. He never scolded. I mean, scolded in the sense he never used any word of insult to the student. It was only advice. So this was a great learning for me. And like that, even in the lab, students all, had so much of respect and love for that person. Professor Sundarajan was another stalwart. He was a real taskmaster. Many of you all know Professor Sundarajan. So once Professor Rao retired, Professor Sundarajan took over as the head of the department. And that is the period we thought about starting our PG program. The first PG program in then Christ College, started in 1992, MA Sociology, where Father Anthony Carriel was the principal. Now he is the bishop. We were under Bangalore University. It is not easy to start a PG program in a college like ours. So a lot of work had to be done, and Father took that initiative. I have seen Father in Bangalore University offices. At least 2-3 days every week he used to spend meeting people, getting this permission, and he started MA Sociology, this subject, in 1992. A big leader, great leader. And in 93, we started MSc Physics. For that, again, a lot of work had to be done. Professor Sundarajan, he has taken that initiative. We were all there along with him in his team, and it was a great, great learning. Because starting a PG program in a college like ours, it was not an easy task. Building up the lab, we used to spend days and days in university performing that experiment in their lab and come here and replicate. That is the kind of target. He is a taskmaster, so he said, these are the things for this week. We have to finish it, whether it's day or night. So that kind of, tasks were given to us. All my colleagues in the departments at that period of time were helping us. So we did that. And from management side, I should specifically mention Father Abraham, his contribution as the then finance officer in purchasing an X-ray machine. Those days it cost around 7 lakhs. And Father, even now he says that machine I have bought. He remembers that. It was a great decision at that time, because spending that much of money for the entire building, maybe, maybe a few more lakhs he would have spent, but spending 7 lakhs for that machine at that time. But the advantage was, the moment that machine came, only 2 places we had in Bangalore University. One is Bangalore University Center and then Christ College. No other places we had PG program. So we have got, physics department has got exposure in Bangalore University because of this PG program. And half the students were selected by Bangalore University and sent here. The other half only we could admit. This X-ray diffractometer, we used it almost 25 years. Of late, I think there was some issue and it is dysfunctional as of now. Because of that, we got a name in Bangalore University, where we had even colleges, they come here to take the data or analysis. Even from Bangalore University, those professors, they come here and take the data. So these are all, exposure for us. And we even conducted a 3-week refresher course for college teachers here in Christ College. I mean, earlier only in academic staff colleges, but here we have conducted that. So many workshops. If the syllabus revision comes, immediately they look for Christ University. They will conduct the workshop. So that edge we got because of these investment. Even father now, I mean, he has spent quite a lot for the new research center. His passion for that, I should appreciate. I should, thank father for those initiatives. It is going to take a big leap in the next stage of our institutional growth. So Professor Sundarajan and Professor Rao, these are the two people definitely has influenced me quite a lot in my grooming. Of course, Chandrasekharan was our member there in the department. He was very, very meticulous in whatever he does. Another great learning for me, and he was good in electronics. That was his passion. Repairing. I also basically, experimental science. So I have learned many things from him, and this was my. I mean, as a leader, when Sundarajan left to take over as the principal of Jain College, and then he became the vice chancellor, and now he is the pro chancellor of Jain University. So I had to take over as the head of the department. So already things were in place. It was easy for me to, just carry on. So these two people, influenced me quite a lot. And even Sundarajan, the books you mentioned, it was his initiative. When the syllabus revision happened, with this background of our department in Bangalore University, we thought we will bring in textbook for BSc. So first year BSc, second year BSc, and final year BSc. And then when it came to semester, even for semesters, we published the book, which even now people are using those textbooks. And that was another good experience. 5 years it took to bring out all these books. You will set the target for this week. This is the portion. We all, myself, Syed Aziz, and Sundarajan. Bangalore University, we were known as Amar Akbar Anthony. So the book they refer to as that Amar Akbar Anthony book. It was a great learning how to set target and see to it that that work is done. We meet on Saturdays, Sundays. What I write, we three sit and one person will read, the other two will listen and then correct. So this was the process going on. So great learning, and how to bring out. It is because of that leadership qualities we could bring out this, and the department, we could establish. So these were the leaders, who have, greatly influenced me, and how to respect people. This is one thing. When I remember Professor Rao, this is what the respect he commands. He never insults anybody, even when he scolds a student. The words he uses. So I imbibed all those, when you can scold. Scolding is for correction. But look, you can't abuse him. You can't insult him. That respect is very important. These were the leaders, I think, of course, from the management side, of course, we all know others, they are all a different category altogether. They are leaders by themselves. They all gave us full support. So great learning.
Thank you, sir, for reliving those 38 years and summarizing your experience. In a way, I'm feeling very jealous that I was not part of that era, but still I am proud that I'm learning so many things from people like you. You said how you have built the department, part of the building process, and you also challenged us in a way, saying that how other institutions came to Christ to learn or to carry out their experience. Above all, one thing you insisted again and again as a leader, how you learn to respect others, scold without insulting. I think that is a very great learning. So you have spent close to 38 years with Christ as a college, as an autonomous college, and now as an university. Can you please tell us what fascinated you of this institution?
One thing is you have the freedom to do what you like, but with responsibility. Responsibility lies in you. So as the head of the department, you can take your decision. You can delegate your work. But there should be a result, and whatever happens, you should be responsible. So this is one thing I used to, practice as the head of the department. Any of the work, I have given to people, they were doing. And at the end, when they bring, I just go through it and some small correction here and there. But the work is done by the team. It's not my work. So whatever we get in the department is done by those people. Of course, Professor Katie Paul helped me a lot, and all the others. So work is divided and given to them. Of course, the same thing happens in the other departments also. Delegation of work. That is very important. But when you fix the accountability, head of the department is accountable. So that part, that freedom you have in this institution, whatever you want, whatever you plan. From the deanery wise, as a dean, I support whatever movement you bring in for academic purpose or even others. Full support, especially in the area of research. This is one experimentation what I was, trying to do. Personally meet the faculty members, interact with them, and what is their need and what way I can help from the deanery wise. Sometimes it is just a motivational talk. They feel elated. Somebody at least care for you. Those kind of things are important. As the head of the department is very important. If there is in your team, if anybody has any problem, where they go, they have to come to your head of the department. If you are sitting there as a head of the department just because of that power, and if you don't respect, once you are out of power, nobody cares for you. Whereas if you have that personal interaction, that trust, building the trust, that is very important. Building the trust. I remember one incident when I mentioned building trust. I was interested in experimental science, and then I had to do some experiments at Indian Institute of Science. So in one particular lab, one professor said, "Do you come?" Some old instrument, when that instrument has not been used for quite some time, there's a big instrument in the corner of the room. I wanted to use that. He said, "Do you come?" And from when I went there, it's all full dust. He asked me to clean that. That was the first thing. He asked me to clean that. And there was some broom, some brush, all those things, and he just went out. For a moment, I was taken aback. I am a faculty here. I have gone there to do some experiment, and he's asking me to clean. I did that. I used the broom. I cleaned everything, and after about half an hour, 45 minutes, he came back, and so I think he was testing me. And then we did the experiment. That trust developed, and later, certain days after the class, I go there and do the experiment. Experiment takes some 2-3 hours. He gives the lab key, the bunch of key to me, and said, "You finish this experiment, lock it and go. Tomorrow you come and give me the key." This is the kind of trust. So when you say trust, if somebody comes to me as the head of the department, he should have full confidence in me. So building that trust, you have to interact with people closely, respect them. That's the way you build the trust. So that was a great experience.
Sir, we are very familiar with much freedom comes responsibility, but you added the third dimension, the result dimension. So I think that is a very important dimension also. It's not just freedom, it's not just responsibility. You are called to produce results along with that freedom. And you also touched upon building trust. I think for a leader, building trust is the most challenging as well as the most essential thing, and that is how you can go forward. So, what is next for you now that you have completed your 38 years of service? And what is that in your mind? Also, we'd like to know what you'd like to share for young leaders.
I am not planned for my future, as it comes, as it unfolds, I leave that. I have no reason to complain. My children, both of them are in US. So I went there, spent some time, I came back. Of course, if I want, I can go there and work. What for? So, what do you need? So, today I leave, tomorrow, as it comes, we'll take a decision. I can go there or here, as long as, So the message to faculty members or youngsters, as you said, is enjoy your life. You chase your passion for research. Be humane. That is a basic principle. Be humane. We talk about, servant leadership. The essence of that is being humane. Respect others. Respect your students. Even when you scold, don't insult students. Don't insult. Respect your students. Punishment is for correction. There should be always a chance for correction. At the end, only punishment comes. So, youngsters, let them learn from seniors. The one thing I feel is missing is the kind of training what I got. I don't see, because of different reasons, maybe a senior faculty going with a junior to their lab or wherever there and guiding them. Academically, of course, present generation is very much advanced, but these kind of interaction, those kind of things are all, missing. Because of different reasons. Now HOD may not be finding time to go and sit in the lab with the others, and it may not happen. But whenever they have a time, I think they should do that in molding the youngsters for a life. Being human is very, very important. That's what I feel.
Sir, we understand that you did your PhD, and I think MPhil you are the first person to do in the institution, something like that you told me earlier. So you had done your research in a time when there was no real pressure, when there was no requirement, but then something grew out of you, that research culture. Can you share with us your research experience?
I was passionate about experimental research, even basic, doing all those repair work and all those things. It was fascinated me. And why I always, Professor Chandrasekharan was my guru for that matter. I learned a lot from him. Repairing, earlier days, it was a transistor radio. Many of our faculty members, they bring the radio, this is not working. When it is come to the physics department, and Chandrasekhar used to repair all those. So, I was also that kind of, even there was complaint in the lab, you are not buying new instrument. If any instrument goes bad, it's some minor problem, I open it and repair, and then after, sometimes your lab is old, no new experiment, no new equipments. As long as it functions, then why you want to buy a new equipment? It functions, and many other things we assemble ourselves. Because even the power supply is smaller student project you give. Some of the power supplies we assembled here, but still it is working. It is dumped in Almera, but I'm sure it is working. And even if it is not working, I know how to repair it because I made it. Or we made it. So my team is there. So experimental research was my passion. So when I traveled my principal at that time, Father Augustine Joseph, quite a lot. When I came, second year itself, I went to him and said, I want to go for research. I want to leave. Father was very angry with me those days. Of course, naturally, I don't blame anybody. Keep troubling him, but finally he said, the day you finish 5 years, you go. This is the word he used. And it happened at the fifth year end, Bangalore University started an MPhil program. And already there was a post approved for Christ University under faculty improvement program. Leave was sanctioned. Nobody knew it. 5 posts were sanctioned. So I went to apply for a leave. Then his father said, it is there. Then, so I could easily go for MPhil 1 year with my pay and, under faculty improvement program. That was the beginning of my research, and I continued there as part-time for my PhD, going from here to Bangalore University, from there to IISc. This circle was going on for quite some time, and I could finish. Even now, I love that, experimental science, basically. It is thrilling.
We understand how passionate you were with your experiments. So is there anything which I have missed asking and you wanted to share with the audience?
If you, the thrilling moment of my career, if you ask me, again connected with the research, when you investigate new materials, new samples, sometimes the thing which, when you get a new result, that pleasure is something you have to experience. Even like you go to a class and teach the class, and finally, students come out and say that, it was the best class. Often it happens, especially BSc classes, not PG. BSc classes, that fresh minds, first year BSc, certain classes when you take, students are all convinced what you are speaking. So from your day-to-day experience, you are putting your theory. That is the method I use. So sometimes students come back and say, sir, today's class was excellent. So that excitement that enjoyment is really, of course, all of you have enjoyed that kind of thing. That is something, you have to experience. Of course, research, for me, research is, that kind of a thrill. Many of the students, I feel, that curiosity is not there for doing research. They do. They prepare the sample, they put it, and at the end, they're not curious enough to know what they have prepared. It's like you are cooking something and you have not tasted that, what you have cooked. You're waiting. That curiousness, is not there in some of our research scholars. So that is a very crucial aspect of a researcher, curiosity. So definitely when I do this research, when I synthesize some new material, something new comes, really thrilling, and investigate.
Can you share one moment which is very, very unforgettable in the last 38 years? An incident or a moment?
The happy moment or
anything, sir?
the happy moment, of course, I have narrated. There is nothing like, I was down also certain times, sometimes, mistrust. That is something really, people at the end, if they suspect my integrity, then that is really hurting. Of course, that's all short-lived, there's nothing to mention here. It's all short-lived. Over a period of time, that's all gone. It was a small time, otherwise all, if you ask me, I have a sense of gratitude to God and gratitude to the institution. So many years I worked here, still continuing. About tomorrow, if you ask me, I don't know. As it comes, I will take it. Yes, I enjoyed my life.
Now the floor is open for if anybody wants to have any question or interaction with sir, you can ask. Or share any memories also, because some of you would have worked with him, some of you are working under him. So if you'd like to share a memory or question, you can share now.
I think I can share some more.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
I mean, one thing was our magazine committee. I remember Tony as a member of that magazine committee. Am I correct, Tony? He was a CBSET student at that time. Yeah. So working for, I mean, these are all, I have never worked at me. So Father Thomas, he was the finance officer then and said, you have to take this. There is no other. So it's all new learning and making a team, and I am the team leader. Of course, there will be, failures or shortcomings in this, but still, it is a big learning. I remember Tony's as a student in that magazine committee and meeting. That is one incident. And yes. And another was staff welfare fund. We had a staff welfare fund where all the teaching staff, non-teaching staff, everybody contribute money, and then we have a fund, and every month we used to give loan. You have to book for the loan, nominal interest and monthly repayment. So taking over as the staff welfare fund coordinator, myself and Tommy, I think we were. One positive thing was he could interact with each and every member of this Christ community. Whether it's teaching or non-teaching, all will come to you. So big opportunity to interact with them, and the respect you command. Even now when we come, Muthu or Bala, sir, good morning. He is the first one to say good morning. Even when I say that, I will go there and tell him good morning. So that kind of rapport was developed. I knew each and every member of Christ community at that time. Now, of course, the number has gone. And at some point, we wound up for staff welfare fund because it is legally it is not permitted to run a finance club of this magnitude. So at some point, we wound up. That was a big, good forum for mutual interaction. So many such things happen.
George sir, it's not a question, just some observations. I think I met George sir even before I came to Christ, if you permit me to say that. Way back in 1986, I was teaching in one of the girls' colleges here. So in Ramarthinagar, that area.
Saint Anne's.
At that time, when I was there, I find two youngsters coming in there. One blue-eyed boy along with another youngster. And in the girls' college, these strangers walking in. So almost for 1 or 2 hours, he was there. They were there. When they went, one of my colleagues told me, see, so one has come to meet one of the girls here, proposed with the would-be wife. Ms. Nirmala, she was my colleague at that time. And later I heard they got married. And out of this 38 years, if my memory is right, I think even more than 30 years, we are commuted from Hoskote to Dairy Circle. And you have seen the kind of traffic in Bangalore, the city roads that you have. And I wonder, even those years, 30 years or something, I know you. I never seen you get angry with anybody. When you come from a traffic jam, the first person you meet is you yell at him, isn't it? But this is a person whom I have never seen get angry in the campus. So I hope I'm right in that. And so What is the secret? How do you maintain in spite of all these traffic pressures?
By nature, I'm like that.
And I understand you have slept during your PhD days, you have slept more in the lab, university lab, IIC lab, than you slept at home. I have heard about all this. I mean,
Some days, that way, I don't know how. Now, if I think, I can't do all this. Why did I? I mean, that kind of a feeling.
exactly.
Slept in the Bangalore University lab, at least 10, 15 days altogether. When some experiment is going on. So in between this many hours you have to do something. There is no other way. So stay there and do. And so one pair of dress, everything is there. Right? One day stay, always there is stock.
Okay. But those days you didn't have any mobile or anything to inform your wife or your children. I don't sure that you are in the lab.
We'll just call and tell,
Okay.
some communication link. So if I'm not coming, the message will go. So that was, at that time, that was all, I enjoyed at that time. Now if I look at, I don't know, I mean, some days even 100 kilometers I drove.
Yeah, that's good. Really surprised.
When I took the car from there to Christ College, then Bangalore University, from there to IIC and back home, when I calculate 100 kilometers.
Yeah, you have just for sleep, you are gone days, but at home. That's where you have to start, yeah. So this is in your nature, you say, that not getting angry or that.
It is, I'm like that.
But yeah, I think many leaders, youngsters have to, watch that. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
These days, anyway, teachers don't have to travel that far to find their posts. That time, it was inevitable for you. You have to go all the way.
Yes, yes.
But anyways, one thing that you mentioned about freedom, responsibility, accountability, and then results, right? It's talking about that also. The first three things, yes, perfectly all right. Freedom comes with responsibility. But then when we talk about results, that is where the problem, arises, because results could be both positive and negative. Both are results, right? Something has to happen. But then how do we as leaders, look at failures? Right? That's very important for me.
Important learning.
Yeah.
Failure, even I used to tell in the class for the students, when they perform the experiment, if they go wrong, you will learn more. First trial, if they get the answer, you think whatever you've done is right.
All right.
So if they go wrong, they are going to learn more. So experimental skill is, to take the best reading out of the worst instrument. I used to tell them. It's applicable in this case also. You are experimenting. If some result comes which is negative, that is also a result, as you said. So what is the analysis of that result and correction? That is more important.
Right. Now, what I'm trying to drive home is, as leaders, we always expect positive things to happen. Now, when we assign some work, we always think, okay, this is what I'm expecting, so hopefully that would happen. But when something else happens, how do we react or how do we respond to it? That is very important. As leaders, unless we are prepared, to meet the worst, and then give that, scope for faculty to learn from, the mistakes. Because most of the time what I see is because we put so much pressure, and when things go wrong, people find it difficult to accept. And there's no learning. Right? So that's another point I thought I will share with you. When we talk about results, it's not just always what we expect to happen or the positive kind of thing. Even if something else happens, that's something that we need to encourage. And then because that happens, you should stop giving responsibilities to that person again. Sometimes that also happens, right? You were talking about mistrust or distrust, or something happens, okay, this person will not be able to do. So now that is a very big mistake that as leaders we could be doing, right? And do you agree?
100% I agree. 100% I agree.
Yeah, if there is somebody in the online also would like to pose a question, you can put it on the chat window.
Yeah, George, sir.
Yeah, yes, Jane Matthew.
Jane Matthew, yeah. Sir, you know, as a leader, you might have gone through a lot of stressful situations, okay? So as a leader, how you have handled the stress in your life as well as in your profession too?
A difficult question to answer. Always there is stress, but certain things are beyond your control. So, what best you can see, I mean, can do at that in that situation. That's all you can expect, right? If you're supposed to, write 100 pages and come about some topic which you are not familiar with, how do you do that? I mean, certain things are, your limitations, and it demands, the situation demands that, you have to perform. This is the expectation. But you have to take that call and how much you can do, and that is a real assessment. That's all you can do. If you expect more and if you try to put pressure on you, that is going to spoil your health.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any other question?
Anything in the chat? Father Abraham.
Anybody else to share anything? I want to listen. I like to listen more. I remember the incident Professor Joseph Thomas told that 93, yes, exactly January 1st, 93, I started as a finance officer, and I was very crazy about the sports and gaming on those days. And the UGC was about to give 25 lakhs for the indoor stadium. I was about to construct the indoor stadium in the Christ, the best that area. Suddenly we got the news that we are getting MSc physics. So I dropped the idea of indoor stadium. MSc physics is very important as a college getting a MSc in physics. Very tough, I know. It's very important. Even to get admission for MSc is very tough. In Kerala colleges, 8 seat or 10 seat allowed in the batch. That Kerala, Gandhi University, Kerala University, Calicut University, all universities, even for MCOM, 15 seats. So that is the value of the MSc stream that we started. I think with the 12 seat we started this MSc program, and even so we decided to construct we had only L shape for the building. I made a U shape in the physics of that time. The construction cost is 32 lakhs for the building on those days. And we bought that X-ray machine. X-ray crystallography is the specialization. X-ray machine 7 point something. I still remember the person from Delhi was staying in the doctor's room. We had no guest house, doctor's room there, and he spent 2 to 3 weeks. And we made, I still remember how we made the dark room and all these things. One computer was available on those days for this experiment. Now, I'm not an expert in that, making a lab and so on, okay? Now, the construction is going on. A Cubani group is interested to make the lab. I think with worth crores of rupees, okay? Even physics lab, chemistry lab, 4 crores each, I think. But that is, the quotation is coming. Even SEM, that is scanning electron microscope we have, that also we purchased this, it is kept there. One information for you, I'm planning to inaugurate or bless the building for the research on 23rd of this month. That is exactly 2 years we put the cornerstone. So we are planning for that. 2 days before only I shall put the notice because there's construction going on. So as HOD, of our physics department. How many years you are HOD? Because 20 years I remember. 2000 I came back from USA. To, how many years before I don't know. George Thomas, you took charge as HOD in 1990. George Thomas. Mic is off.
21 years.
Pardon?
19 years, Father.
You took charge on which year? 1999 or
2000.
2000 only? Okay.
Yes.
So we know a very noble HOD, very noble. Like we never heard any complaint against you from any teachers. Everybody enjoyed your leadership, and I also wanted to be there even after you retired as a HOD or physics department. I was requesting you don't go to USA. Going to USA is very boring. You can spend weekends only with your children, and they will be busy. Why bother the children there? Stay here. I forced him, and Joe Thomas is staying here as the Dean of Sciences now. I think, but I will not say lies, okay? To stay for a long time without working in USA is like a five-star jail or something like that. What I want is we should be humane. That is very important as a HOD. Every HOD please remember that he told from the experience that humane, and also humane to the students also. You should be strict. You should scold them, but at the same time we should not hurt them, and their self-esteem should be protected. Even copying the examination, when we catch them, we have to correct them. We should not allow copying. I have many experiences, okay, the copying and catching, and some are celebrating. I caught one person, oh, such a victory. So we have to correct the person, and they should not copy again like that. We have to develop a culture. Even fathers I have seen, I caught him. What is that? How we saved him? That is the important question. We have to save them because they don't know what they're doing. It is our responsibility as a learned people and enlightened people to tell the students. Nowadays I heard that students are copying more because they lost the culture of this writing skill. They lost because of the online examination. That's what, and the exam also very bad. So this thing will continue. We should be extremely strict. At the same time, we should be humane. At the same that you should think, or you should make a workshop how to overcome the situation that is going to come. So, such a noble leader. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful sharing, and you are contributing still now. Even though he is noble, at the same time quiet. He has a correct reading about each and everybody in the department. He knows what they are, what is in them, and at the same time he's encouraging the positives, because we are all human beings, okay? Negatives are there. Yeah, a lot of negatives we have, but we are not celebrating that, but we are forgetting and closing our eyes to them, and bring the positives of the students, what the teachers. That's why physics department is a flourishing department in research. Also, students love to come and join for physics. And even our science department like that, okay, physics, chemistry, mathematics, life sciences. Now all the science department has a name, computer science and so on. So that name and fame, only thing that humaneness, authority should not make us blind. And we should not use our authority to retaliate or to take revenge on anybody whom you don't like, such things. That is very, very, the HOD on formation is moderating the situation. So how to become a good HOD? Please learn from your seniors. Our Ashok Immanuel is sitting there. So there is my spontaneous reaction. And so thank you so much for sharing, sir.
Sure, Father. So thank you, sir. It has been a very delightful evening talking to you and sharing your experience and experiments. So thank you all the audience for online and offline for joining for this conversation.